Could you briefly introduce yourself and your role in short drama industry?
First of all, thank you for having me. My name is Bianca. I'm from Germany and I'm the founder of the Ukrainian Actors and Actresses fandom. When did I founded it? I founded it in end of February 2025. And since then, I'm going straight and it's getting and bigger. To explain it, because I founded it and I had only 7 male actors and 8 actresses in my fandom. And today I have 177 actors and actresses in my fandom, which I'm supporting, where I have all the filmographies, etc. But let me explain it in a different way. I'm not only on Instagram, I'm on a few platforms. The typical social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. But our headquarter is actually on Discord. Why Discord? Because I can publish there more information and more databases than I could ever do on Instagram, for example. Because each actor in my fandom have their own profile where I publish all the social media channels which I found of these actors. And they are not only acting in verticals, they also acting in, I call them mini movies, which are published on YouTube. Because there are platforms like Dramatize Me, Busted TV, and Be Kind. And I never counted them in total, but there must be around 1,600 to 1,800 mini movies with the same actors, which we can see in the verticals. So these mini movies have the lengths mostly between 10 to 20 minutes and tells you a whole story. And so I tried to do the filmographies of those mini movies. But as I said, it's a lot to do because there are so many, and you only can figure out who is acting in there by watching all these mini movies. But also, I have the filmographies of all verticals. Why did I founded this fandom? It's pretty easy. First of all, at the point while I founded it, there were barely information about Ukrainian actors, which you could find online. Because most of the actors don't fill out pages like IMDb. That's why I made it my task to create all those filmographies to figure it out. Because the community, if they watch a vertical and think, oh, this actor is great, or this actress, I like her a lot, and which else verticals I can see her, they can find something. So that's why I created this and make it much easier for the community to find more about their favorite actors. But most of all, I'm doing it for the actors and creatives because I have some showrunners, directors, producers in my fandom as well. But they need to be seen. They need to get recognized because there are barely credits in these verticals.
Your previous professional background seems quite different from films and TV or even vertical dramas. So I'm just curious, how did you first discover vertical short dramas and what motivated you to found this fandom?
First of all, I have to say, this is a voluntarily job which I'm doing with the fandom. I don't earn money with that. But actually, I would love to work in this industry because it's so interesting and I have such a big database and know so much. But how did I found it? It's actually a sad situation. It's a storytelling out of my life. Since begin of 2024, I'm going through a very hard time. I lost my job in end of January 2024. In February, I lost a family member. In May, I lost a family member. In August, I lost a very good friend. And last year in May, I lost another family member. And in June, another friend. So I'm deeply in depression and have anxieties. And while I was sitting here on my couch, it's like most of the audience, we saw these ads on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And I tried to resist for a long time. But on some point, if you've seen always some episodes, you got hooked so easily in these stories. that you wanted to know how the story is going on. And on the begin, I didn't even knew there are some vertical apps. I only seen those episodes on the social medias. And on some point, I figured out there are apps where you can watch it and to watch the full version of the vertical. And I started watching first the verticals from all over the world. And I enjoyed them a lot, and it gave me, yeah, kind of like an escapism. Do you say it in English this way? To forget my problems for a moment, just to dive into the story and enjoy it. And that's how I got hooked. And a little bit later, I watched a vertical where I immediately heard an Eastern European accent. I didn't knew from where they are from, and I tried to Google it, and it was really hard to find these information. But then I found it, and I seen these actors are from Ukraine. And I was wondering because everyone knows in Ukraine there's actually right now an active war zone. And yes, they are shooting them in Ukraine. It's not outside of Ukraine. And as more as I've seen these stories, because they've been so unique, so totally different to, for example, the verticals from America or Australia, that I really enjoyed it. And I watched them more and more and more. And before that, I've been in a community where we created something like I'm doing right now for all the verticals worldwide. And I took over the project lead of it to do all the administration stuff, to write down all the actors and actresses. And in the end, we had there 208 actors and 152 actresses. But then, how life is going, sometimes I left this channel and I needed to do something because this kind of work, yeah, helped me not to go insane with my depression. So I needed to do something, and I decided, hey, let's support Ukraine because I can't do it in a financial way. So let's do it in a different way. And that's why I started my fandom. And like I said, I only had 13 people on the beginning in my list and it's getting more and more. And I have to say, they are not just actors who are based in Ukraine, they are also Ukrainians who live abroad, like Vladimir Pelech. He's Ukrainian, but live in the States and shoot in the States and Canada for Vertical. And some Germans are in there, and French guys, and so on. They are part of our fandom as well, because actors who are from abroad and been in Ukraine to shoot their projects for YouTube or for verticals, they are a part of our fandom as well. So that's why we grow so fast.
What's the difference
Yeah,
between those YouTube mini series and vertical dramas?
it's much shorter. And they are just small storytellings, which are, let's say it this way. We all know there are worldwide verticals where a lot of violence is, you can see, and unnecessary violence, and nobody want to see that. But in these, they are made, even if there is some violence, which you can see, on the end, it's always become a good story. So it's always have somehow a good ending. And there's a message behind it. Like I said, they have so many different genres in these mini movies. I guess it's for the actors. It's kind of like Darman in America. It's something like which Ukrainians are doing because these projects, Dramatize Me, Love Busters, and Be Kind, are projects of Amo Pictures. And Amo Pictures is the biggest production company in Ukraine who is shooting most of the Ukrainian verticals. And so they have these projects as well and working with that. And nowadays they have some stories which are published, for example, on My Drama, but also on Lovebuster TV or Dramatize Me. So you can see it on both ways. The only difference in this case is on YouTube, they make out of one vertical, they make maybe 2 episodes out of it. And or four. It depends how long this story is in a vertical way. And they change the title on there. But you can always find it. And I publish it on my fandom page as well because we are writing, or not just me. I have a small team around me who are helping me because I'm not really a writer. I'm more a talker. And so my ladies who are helping me, they are writing the vertical descriptions. That means I don't want to write a review or spoil everything in this vertical. I want to show the audience what is the story about without spoiling too much and make it more interesting or make the audience more curious to watch the show. And that's where I'm publishing not only the name of the vertical, which is published on a vertical app, but also the movie pictures, which you can see on YouTube. So you can find it immediately because that's what I'm doing. In my filmographies for each actor, I'm showing the name of the actor, in which vertical this person acted. So I have the movie picture, I have the platform, the release date, the role name, and sometimes some infos if you need some. Because in total, right now, we have 111 verticals made in Ukraine, including 9 pilot projects, which are published on My Drama. These pilot project means this is a new story, which have a length of 7 to 12 episodes, and then they blend in something like what happened 5 years ago or 1 year later, and then they, unfortunately, which many of us don't like, they show a vertical which has nothing to do with the first story, with the new storyline. The only thing which they have maybe in common is that the actors from the new storyline acting in the old storyline. So it's just a pilot project to see how the audience like this new story. And if the audience is contacting My Drama, for example, over a DM on Instagram and tell them, hey, where's the rest of the story? I want to see more. They see how the feedback is, and then they will decide if they shoot the full vertical. We recently had there a vertical which was, they changed it, the title from the pilot project to the full vertical. It was called first Alpha Accidentally Got Me Pregnant with Max Katchenko, Tetiana Baitalenko, and Natalia Moroz, and some others. And it was for many months only a pilot project, and everyone wanted to see it because it's a werewolf story, and the special effects been so amazing, and we wanted to see it. And finally, they released the full version, and it's called now Alpha's Cursed Luna. It's amazing, and that's how it's work. If the audience is giving feedback, the platforms will shoot the full version.
Hi, this is Maggie Han from Short Drama Alliance. A lot of people think short drama writing looks easy, but writing something that actually becomes a hit is a very different thing. It's a bit like deadlifting. You may still lift the weight the wrong way, but once it gets heavier, technique matters. That's why we created 4-week online short drama bootcamp taught in English with recorded lessons, live feedback, and guidance from mentors who have trained platform teams and experienced script writers. We help you from the core concept to the writing process. You are not doing this alone. You are not trying to figure everything out by yourself. Check out our social media for more details.
You mentioned those, if audience give very positive feedback on those pilots,
Yeah.
as pilots will be produced as a full vertical drama in My Drama, right? So do you help with those feedback? Let's say if you know a Ukrainian actor or actress perform in this pilot, will you encourage those audience or fans to vote or speak to the platforms?
Yes, because I'm doing it always like this. If I see there's a new vertical coming out, I try to watch it immediately to figure out who's acting in there, what are their role names, who are the directors, and all the infos I could get. And sometimes I don't have the credits, but I have my sources where I can get all those information. So I try to get it because I'm very good connected. And then I'm always creating a reel where I show, sure, the movie picture, and then I will show the director, maybe the showrunner, or the director for action and fight scene, and then the cast, which I recognized. I don't know everyone yet, but if I recognize these actors, I will put a picture in there with a real name and and the role name. And I'm doing it with the pilot projects as well. And I always put a text in it where I say, hey, if you want to see more of these stories, contact my drama and tell them about it. Because only if you say something, they will decide if they shoot the full version or not.
Those actors give you information to say, let's I perform in this show, or you find their information?
It depends. Usually they are not allowed to say something up front, but sometimes they are giving me the hint. But for me, it's not a problem if they're giving me information up front because the first rule which I have in my fandom is respect these creatives and respect their privacy. And we don't want to get them in trouble. So if they say, hey, I'm just shooting a vertical and right now it's the name of this, and hey, I'm shooting with this crew and so on, I will keep it for myself. But mostly I'm watching this vertical and figure out who's acting in there. And if there's an actor where I'm not sure who it is, I'm contacting the other actors who are acting in the show or the director if I know it up front, because I see some BTS where I saw they shooting together. I contacting all these people who are involved and ask, hey, who are the rest? And give me more information. And that's how I get all these infos.
So you've interviewed many Ukrainian actors and actresses in your what I watch the YouTube channel. Are there
Yeah,
any memorable stories or details really stay with you and that you want to share with us?
I will say it at first, and then I will say what formats I have, because I have two formats on YouTube. And I'm not only, well, let's start it in this case. The first format which I created was the magic behind Ukrainian actors. This is a format where I'm talking sure to actors who had a role in an Ukrainian vertical, but also I tried to get some creatives out of this industry who've been involved in these projects and get some background stories. For example, what is the job of a showrunner or what else? But I also talked to creatives out of the vertical industry from all over the world in this case, which have something in common with Ukraine. For example, I talked to Casey Esser. And now you will ask, what does he have to do with Ukraine? But I was in his subscription channel and I published back then my first interview. And I told that in the subscription chat. And he said, and why don't I get interviewed? And I said, because you are not an Ukrainian actor. And he said, but I have something in common with them. Because his production debut for Love in the Shadows was published on My Drama, and he worked with My Drama. And My Drama and Drama Shorts are two vertical apps which are from Ukraine. So that's where we had something in common. And another memorial interview was, or actually, I don't call it interview because I don't like those straight interviews. It's more like a conversation. And I talked to John Henry Richardson. And this is very important because John Henry was supposed to do something very important with Ukraine because before the war started, he was in contact with the Ukrainian government because he wanted to go there and they wanted to create together a filming school, a filming studio, and a filming festival. Because most acting classes are only for actors who acting, for example, in theaters. And since he been, I guess, over 12 years a teacher on the New York Film Academy for filmmaking, he wanted to go there and create it. And they had everything finalized and his flight was booked, his hotel was booked. And unfortunately, the war started, so he had to cancel it for now. But I believe if the war will end someday, they will pick this subject up again and then they will go on with this plans. I hope so, at least. The most memorial, talk I had on there was with the actor Bogdan Bazenko. I guess he had only in one pilot project a lead role. Usually he is a side role. But unfortunately, oh no, let's say it this way. I planned to do an interview with him last year in August. And 2 days before this appointment, he texted me and said, Bianca, I'm so sorry, I have to cancel it because military recruitment caught me and I have to serve my country now. So he is right now, yeah, fighting for his country and is a soldier and can't shoot any projects no more at the moment. But he still wanted to talk to me, and it's a special conversation because, sure, we talked about his acting career as well, but not as much. But we talked more about what's going on in Ukraine, because media don't show often all the details what's going on. So I wanted to hear it out of first hand, and I'm not a political person, not at all. But I wanted to show everyone and think about under which circumstances these verticals get shot and what's going on and under which circumstances these people have to live. This was a very great conversation. I guess we talked in total 3 hours and I had to cut down the interview. But it was very interesting and so necessary in my eyes to show the audience what's going on. Another interview was special to me because I'm following him for a long time now, and we are all pretty close. We had an interview with Bogdan Ruban. Maybe you guys know him. He played in some very great verticals. And he said, Bianca, if we are doing this interview, we doing it at the same time live on my Twitch stream. So we had audience while we were recording this, and it was really special because it's something else if someone is watching you and at the same time, and you're not just talking like we do right now. So that was very special as well.
How do you define short drama in a few sentences? And I want to ask you, what's the core or essence of short drama?
Yeah, for me, verticals aren't short. Because yes, they have different kind of episodes, but for me, the vertical have, or it's a full movie from 1 hour to 1.5, so it's a full movie. And I can tell you, most of the audience don't just watch only 1 or 2 episodes. They watch it in total. They have the subscription, for example. But the stories are emotional compact. The vertical format isn't just a gimmick. But a stage for a cinematic scene. And there's always tension from episode to episode. And for me, it's kind of like a lifesaver because if I having bad days with my depressions and my panic attacks, I'm watching verticals to come down.
How the verticals calm you down?
Yeah, like I mentioned it before, it's like an escape for a moment from the problems. Or not just the watching the verticals make me escape from my problems for a moment. Also the fandom work, because I'm working sometimes 10 to 12 hours a day on it, but that's a different story. But these stories make me really forget why I'm in having panic attacks at the moment. So for me, it's important to have this.
What kind of story do you like personally?
I'm watching all of them, 100 verticals so far from all over the world. Plus, I watched already around 550 of these mini movies. So I have a different kind of stories which I like. I like, for example, the mafia ones, the werewolf ones, but also sometimes all kind of genre. But I love rom-coms and I love comedies. And I can recommend to everyone if you want to have a feel-good vertical where you'll have to laugh, watch on Good Short. Oh my God, My Husband is a Callboy with Pierre Longer from France and Tetiana Malkova from Ukraine. I watched it, and the vertical have a length of 1.5 hours. And after 20 minutes, your cheeks are hurting because you are smiling and laughing so bad. So if you want to watch something to feel you good, do it.
Why do you think short drama has become so popular?
Yeah, because many of the audience, and I'm talking to a lot of them, they have different kind of problems or stress in their life. And they are watching it to escape their problems, but also you can watch it everywhere. So you have 24/7 the availability to watch something like that. But the core is the precision. Every scene needs to deliver something essential, whether it's the character, the conflict, or emotions. There is no space for fillers. Well, the pace is very important sometimes as well, so you don't have to wait so long until the story is going on. And the goal is not just to tell stories, but to create instant emotions, which, yeah, where the audience get hooked so fast. You get hooked by the first 10 episodes. If you start watching the first 10 episodes until the payroll wall is starting, and you are not hooked, you don't have to watch the rest. But if you are hooked in the first few episodes, you are watching the full thing.
Normally, when we tell writers, you should hook the audience in the first 5 or 10 seconds, actually.
Yes. Because most of the stories, which are from all over the world, are not really interesting for us no more because they're repeating themselves all the time. There are no new stories. And mostly you've seen a vertical 6 times, but only with a different cast. And they just change small things in the storytelling. But in total, it's totally the same. Sometimes I have the feeling I can speak the lines of the actors because I've seen the story so often.
Is it because you've watched so many short dramas, but for some
No, it's not
newcomers,
just me. There are many people in the audience who feel like they start watching in vertical and say, okay, I know the story, and they turn it off. They don't want to see that no more because they are tired of it. And that's what I love, for example, about Ukrainian verticals. They have so amazing script writers in Ukraine, so the stories are unique. I mean, you don't develop the wheel new. You have billionaire CEOs, you have mafia bosses, werewolves, etc. But the stories are really unique, and you don't have the unnecessary banquet scenes. You don't have as much humiliations and the violence against females. You don't have that. Sure, you can't keep violence out of it. I'm always have the example. Just imagine you have a mafia boss who is all lovey-dovey and handing out some flowers and is not violent. It's not working. But the violence is necessary if it's necessary for the story, you know. But like I said, the unnecessary banquet scenes and so on, we don't need that.
what kind of story you mean, apart from those mafia or CEO stories, what kind of story you've seen popular?
Yeah, recently this year, Amo Pictures started with great stories. First of all, Love and Oblivion, which is on Drama Pups. It's a very great thriller, and it's don't feel like a vertical at all. And the cast been outstanding in my eyes. And the second vertical, which I don't call a vertical either, because it's from the genre is something totally new. The Faking is my shadow daddy. Like the title say, it's about fairies, and you didn't have that yet in the vertical space. And the special effects, the costumes, the cast. Oh my God, I loved it. And which I like a lot too recently is our Ukrainian vertical stars. They are very creative in a artistical way. So there are some verticals where these actors are singing in it.
We do have AI short drama in China. So do you think those actors will replace actors or not?
I hope not. Yes, AI is something big, what is going on right now, but I don't hope that because AI can show emotions. I like it more to see it from a human being. You can use AI, for example, for the special effects or something. That's totally cool. But please don't do it to keep all the original actors out of a vertical and take it with AI actors.
But you can't stop AI, right?
No, me as an audience, how can I stop it? The platforms are doing what they want anyway. And that's what I'm always saying, especially regarding all these stories. Those production companies, those platforms should listening more to the audience, what they want to see, what they don't want to see. And don't go after the numbers of how many views a show have, because I'm not sure how they count it. I guess even if there's just an ad somewhere and you see the show, I guess it's count as a view as well. But it's count as a view for the whole show, even if you turn it off after one episode because you don't like it. So that's mean nothing in so many eyes of the audience if a show is good or not. Listening what the audience want to hear. Because I had once an interview with Anton Skripets. He is the licensing and partnership executive of Amo Pictures. And he was saying there are two people in this vertical space. On the one hand, the investors, on the other hand, the audience. And I said, hold on, the audience are investors as well. Because there are so many vertical apps and we are spending so much money to get coins or subscriptions, we are investing as well. So that's necessary that these platforms should listening more to the audience.
How can those platforms listen to the audience?
Yeah, they can do surveys, for example. They should, because I know there are a few people. I'm not sitting behind them and looking over their shoulders, but there are a few people who even DMing those platforms and telling them something, what they like, what they dislike, or all the review pages, listening to the review pages. They writing you down what's going on because they are deep into this business as well. For example, I'm not watching verticals like maybe most of the others. I'm very detail oriented. Because I'm seeing, for example, if there's a scene and there are two people who drinking maybe a glass of wine, and you see all the fingerprints over the glass, I'm getting a crisis. Those are small details. Just clean the glass. Or it's always funny. It must be magic if it's going to the intimacy scenes. Sometimes the guys don't even open the zipper. They just starting the act, you know? And I said, how they are doing it. Those are small details. They don't have to get naked or something, but just open the zipper or the buttons or whatever, you know? And those are small details where I'm looking at. And I seen in a Ukrainian vertical also the one act, or there have been two actors in a car, and one had sunglasses on, where the glasses being a mirror. And he's turning his head, and you could see the camera guy in the background. So those are small details where you have to take a look, and it don't cost a thing. To take a look for details. It don't cost a thing.
As a female founder, have you faced any challenges because of your gender? Or do you think you have any advantage because of your gender?
Me personally, I didn't had any problems or advantages with that or challenges, not at all. Because most of the community, we are females. There are finally some guys coming to it, but mostly we are females. So nah, I didn't have any problems just because I'm a female. But we are planning here something in Germany right now because in Germany, verticals are until now not so common. And I have a very good friend, and if I may mention her name, on Instagram, verticaldramas. And she is actually from her an editorial director and executive producer, and she's coming out of the media business. So she want to try to get verticals to Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, more Germany, but not in the German language. We want to do it in an international way because you get more or you reach more audience if you do it internationally, if you speak English. It's nothing final yet, but she is doing a lot and I'm assisting her with that because we both have a lot of experience and can call us somehow a little bit of experts regarding verticals. And not just me from Ukraine, all over the world. Like I said, I'm not watching only Ukrainian verticals. And mostly she's trying because she have the connection because of her profession. She's trying to get international actors, directors, producers here to Germany to do those projects. She already talked to the government regarding maybe some founding in a European way. So she's already doing it. And yeah, we are working on that to get it here. She's going to be in the next few days in a big panel as well, where the media groups and her are talking about verticals in Germany. And the good thing is we are females who are really watched a lot of verticals. We are knowing what we are talking about because mostly you have in this industry some investors or maybe producers who are maybe old gentlemen who maybe watched only one vertical or are not really deep into it, but they think they know what's going on.
If a person or a professional from film or TV background, he or she wants to tap into short drama area for directing or filming or producing, what's your suggestion?
Maybe get in touch with these producers and platforms and check out if they are looking for actors. And if you become an actor, you should get educated as well. Sometimes it's working out that you are natural and you can act without education, but sometimes it's pretty necessary to get the education regarding acting. Producers and for example, script writers. For example, Amo Pictures are always looking for script writers. Check out these production companies for what they are looking for. Take a look on LinkedIn. Get connected with so many people on there. And it's if you make a posting after that, hey, I'm looking for a job as a scriptwriter, as a director, and you have some expertise which you can show them what your experience are. I recently started a new category. It's called vertical voices, where I'm talking to the audience. I want to hear the background stories, how they got into the vertical space, which part in the vertical space do they have? Are they just fans who watch or love to watch verticals? If they say, I'm interested, I'm forwarding those information of these people to Amo Pictures. What they are doing on the end, it's up to them, but I'm trying to connect them because they are watching verticals from all over the world, but you can't see all of them because there are too many actors. So if I'm talking to these and they are interested, I'm forwarding all these information, so maybe they get in touch and we see these actors or directors someday in a our picture production.
Are there any challenges or inequalities for those female actors or female creators?
Let's say it this way. I didn't personally talk to any actresses about the subject yet, but you brought me to an idea. But I heard from other fan pages who do interviews, I heard a few things that female actresses still getting less paid than the male actors, even if they have mostly more lines, and they have to do so much more, like get all into the humiliations and the violence and get the wine spilled over them and stuff like that. They should get more money. Unfortunately, even in 2026, the females still get less paid than the males. It's not just in the film industry.
What do you see the future of short drama is?
I guess it will still go on for a while because it's just starting, and the audience and the people who want to join this industry is getting bigger and bigger. The only thing what I don't think which is so good, it's my personal opinion. Recently, they showed that some A-listed actors joining the vertical space, and I think if they would have a cameo in a show, absolutely amazing. But don't pull them in there because there are so many amazing, talented actors and actresses all over the world who are not the big shots yet. Don't take the opportunity away from them to work. It's great because we need more diversity in the vertical space because there are not many actors with a other skin tone, and we need to change that as well. And the diversity is so important. In this case, it's amazing, and maybe to push it again to get the show, but don't pull them in to do every single vertical. Leave this to the others. Like I said, if it's just sometimes a cameo in a show, it's great, but don't do it or overdo it.
Actually, in China, there are short drama stars. Some of them are from film or TV backgrounds. They used to have a supporting role in a big film, let's say, but they're good at performing, so they kind of switch their career into short drama, become the top star. Also, there are some like actors from other backgrounds. They learn performing and then they become the top star. Actually, it doesn't conflict in China.
Yeah, I must admit, I think to work in is a good education for the actors because the pace which you have, how many pages you have each day, this is amazing what they are able to do. And other actors, they have sometimes maybe 5 pages a day. and they shoot the whole project in 2 or 3 months. If there is something going on and they have to hurry up, they are maybe lost because they are not used to it. And these actors who are working in the vertical space, they are used to this pace. They can do so much more and see it on in a financial way. For the production companies, it's getting cheaper if you don't shoot, for example, a month or 2 months, if you can do the same in less days or less weeks.
In China as well, those actors, they show off the other after that. So they have a lot of titles in the resume.
But for real, they have to change the titles. I hear it so often now by actors. It's a reputation of them if they see titles which are actually appropriate, and you could say, "Hey, that sounds actually like a soft porn title." No, don't do that. We are laughing about it, the audience, but we forget about it again, you know? But that's in their resume. I'm not sure if that is so good for that.
Oh yeah, that's an interesting topic actually. Some titles indicate of some sexual things, right? It's not very appropriate.
There are a lot of titles where I think, who the hell got this idea? I mean, even I don't think it's a good title. The Fake King is my shadow daddy. I mean, it's not meant in this way, but if you are new to it, you would think, what the hell? No, but we all know they have working titles and they have titles which they use for publishing it. And what most important, I think it's necessary for the future, please give always these actors the footage of the shows in which they are, or the platforms. Give free access to the actors to watch their shows. It's you make much money. It's one you if you give the cast of one show maybe a 1 week subscription or something just to let them watch their show, and don't ask, let us know in which episode you are so we can send you the episodes. No, send the whole thing. Inform the others when it's got released. Most of the actors and directors, they just figure out that their show got released because some review page is writing something, or the normal fans just posting something. Hey, I just watched this vertical, or hey, there's something new coming out. They only recognize that they got released because of the audience.
Also, I've heard from last forum that you attend, right? There's actors say they can't post the clips in Facebook, some
Yeah,
say block. Yeah,
yeah.
because of
Not
copyright
not
issues,
just on
something.
Facebook. It's on Instagram sometimes too. If a platform is posting a trailer and we want to share it, there have been a lot of us who got restricted for doing it because they said we are stealing the content. We are even tagging these apps and telling the audience, hey, look, these actors are in this movie and it's getting released on this app or this app. We are supporting them. We make the show more important because I figured out some apps are only promoting those shows which they produce themselves. But if they're buying some shows, they don't get as much promotion as their own stories. We had this with Ukrainian verticals, but we had this, for example, with Love and Blood. It's don't have that much or so many views because a real shot didn't promoted it.
I think those who promote those shows are from different company, maybe. So they don't have
Yeah.
much time to get every person's feedback on how to give you access of those video clips, maybe.
Yeah, and we figured out, for example, with the Ukrainian verticals, we had to scroll a lot in the app until we found in the ranking our verticals. And there have been newer verticals who've been in the ranking more up there because they posted it again and again and again. So they have the promotion, you know? And they need to do it more because each vertical, there's a lot of work in there. The team's doing such an amazing job. And I mean, even if I don't like knockoffs, that never means that the crew and the actors in these knockoffs doing a bad job. They don't. They're doing an outstanding job as well. But I know from a lot of fans that they are not watching these shows because they always see the original actors in front of their eyes, and they say, "No, I'm not getting into it. It's not the original one."
From your feedback, One is for the platforms, listen more to the audience, their feedback, what kind of shows they like.
Yes.
The second one is connect more with the actors or the main crew. For example, give them access to those video clips they can promote together.
I guess it was in your last short drama forum.
Toby, yeah. He asked.
Toby, he said, what can I do to get the footage for my verticals I made? Because he wanted for promotion videos. You know, these actors need those scenes to get casted for new shows. You know, just to show, hey, look, that's what I did, and I'm able to act like that. Let's say it this way: they can do better.
Yeah, that's a very good suggestion. Do you have any other things you want to share?
I just can say, if you want to learn more about Ukrainian verticals, you feel always free to join us. And the community is great and you can learn a lot.